What is going on, everybody? We are back with another review and the final review of Season 1 of Goosebumps. So, episodes 18 and 19 comprise the story of the Werewolf of Fever Swamp. And before we get any further, please be sure, if you want to see everything a week earlier, you could already be like a week into the next show, which is only like three to four episodes because I bounce back and forth. However, you could already be there if you're a part of the Patreon. Find the description, or you'll find the link to that in the description below. With that being said, so this is the review for the episode Werewolf of Fever Swamp, which is based off of book number 14 in the Goosebumps series of the same name. This was directed by William Fruit, written by Neil Schusterman. Schusterman. And this episode debuted May 17th, 1996. Now, there's something wrong with this listing, only because the first episode of Season 2 appears to be Careful What You Wish For, which actually released a week earlier than this that we just watched. I don't know how that works, but we're just going along with it. Just saying. This also starred, by the way, Brendan Fletcher. Brendan Fletcher is somebody who, now it's weird seeing kid version of him. Like, obviously we saw Ryan Gosling a couple episodes, and Brendan Fletcher didn't become as big an actor as, obviously, Ryan Gosling. However, he was a character, he was one of the two guys that were best friends in Freddy vs. Jason, which I'm very familiar with. And he's the main character in a series, I think there's 4 movies in that series, called Rampage, which are nuts, by the way. You should absolutely check them out if you have not seen them. Great movies. As far as what goes on with the whole story, so this family moves into this house, and once they get to the house, once they get there, it's a completely rundown. There's mold on the walls, boards on the windows, so forth and so on. But the kids don't want to be there. The mom and dad are moving there because they're trying to see how these goats, it's like a science experiment to see how these goats evolve or change, adapt. I think it was the word I was looking for. Adapt to the new swamp-like environment. And neither of the kids want to be there for good reason. I mean, the house sucks. There's probably nobody around. We never see that the daughter ever makes a friend, and the boy that does make a friend, we'll get to that soon. But yeah, Grady is just struggling with everything. And then he happens to meet a kid named Will, if I remember correctly. I think it's Will. And Will looks like a Manning. Peyton, Eli, pick one. I mean, they're siblings. It's not played by a Manning. I'm just saying he looks like a Manning. And the day before he meets Will, he actually runs into this, Grady runs into this, hermit that lives in the swamp that's real creepy looking, right? So fast forward back to where we were. Will convinces Grady to walk through the swamp. They walk through the swamp together. They happen to see the hermit. They take off running and hide from the hermit and eventually get out. And he tries to... This Will then starts to tell Grady, he's like, hey, he's a werewolf. This guy's a werewolf. I mean, he's... Everybody knows he's a werewolf, even though they can't prove it, so forth and so on, right? Grady also tells him that the reason why his house was empty is because the werewolf ate the people that used to live there, and has also caused so many other people to disappear in Fever Swamp. And that the swamp, got the name Fever Swamp because it gives everybody, it gives people that live on it or near it a fever that gets them so hot and it melts in their brains and they go crazy and blah, 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 right? So, that night, Grady is panicking because of everything. He tries to tell his parents. His parents are like, yeah, that shit's not true. He goes to bed. In the middle of the night, he wakes up with what he thought was a fever. Checks his temp. It's not a fever. He hears what sounds kind of like barking from outside. He goes to the kitchen. The door's already open, and he gets attacked by what he thinks, I'm guessing, is a werewolf. But it turns out to be this dog that was licking him to death. The rest of the family comes in. They're all excited because, hey, Grady's found this animal that really likes him and is helping take care of him, blah, blah, blah. Or help, licking him, whatever. And they decide to keep the dog as long as when the dad goes around town the next day and asks around, nobody claims the dog, right? Because he's not just going to steal somebody's dog. He's a good person. So the next day they play for a little bit, and they decide, Will and Grady decide they're going to take the dog, whose name is now Vandal, and they're going to go walk through the swamp a little bit. And they do. And they decide, Grady decides he's going to go look in this hut. He needs proof that a werewolf exists because his parents think he's crazy. So they go there. The hermit finds them. The hermit chases them. Grady gets caught in a net, one of those rope net traps that you see in cartoons. And Will takes off. The hermit drags Grady back to the shack. And as the full moon starts to come out, the hermit's looking over Grady to make sure he doesn't change. Because, truth be told, the hermit's not the werewolf in the story. At this point, we've transitioned into episode 2. So, the hermit goes out, starts making werewolf noises to try and draw in the werewolves. Of course, that makes Grady think that he is the werewolf. So he has a knife. He cuts himself out of the net. He crawls out the back of the house because it's just thin sheet metal, and he's able to pry it open, crawl out, and get away. So as he gets home, during all of this, by the way, a rabbit, it was found dead that the parents think it was Vandal that did it. And one of the parents, I think the dad even said there were several animals around the area that have died, and they think Vandal did it. And the kid's like, no, Vandal did not do this. And he's trying to plead for Vandal's case, and the parents just aren't believing him. So fast forward back to where we are now, because this is going to come back into the play. So he gets home. Mom's the only one that's there, and he's like, yo, we've got to go. Things are crap's hitting the fan. We got to get out of here. There's a werewolf. And Mom's like, you need to stop with this. So then Vandal kind of jumps into the window, barking to get their attention. They go outside, and the pen with all the deer has been, a part of it's been destroyed. The deer are gone. One of the deer is laying in the pen dead. And she thinks it's Vandal again, so she goes to throw Vandal in the shed or garage or barn or whatever it is, because they're going to get rid of Vandal now. And the kid basically frees the dog, tricks Mom into the shed, locks her in, and he's like, yo, this is for your own good. This will keep you safe. So he takes off to try and go find Vandal. During all of this, he goes over to Will's house to look for Will, and Will's house is just this building with all sorts of dead animal heads on the wall, things like that. While he's doing that, Sister gets back home. She's looking around for people, can't find anyone, and then all of a sudden she's attacked by what is the werewolf. So she takes off running. She gets out to the shed, unlocks it from the outside, runs inside, closes the door behind her. They lock it from the inside. She's like, no, there's definitely a wolf creature out there. That's something. And the wolf creature starts going around everywhere and starts banging on things and blah, 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 blah. Tries to get in, cannot get in. So they take off. He takes off because he hears Grady starting to, yell his name from in the swamp. the werewolf attacks Grady, and as he attacks Grady, he takes off, and then all of a sudden, the werewolf actually gets caught in the rope net himself. Or at least they make you think that when the hermit comes out to, talk shit, because this is where you find out that the reason the hermit's wife's dead, or died in the past, is because the werewolf is the one that killed his wife. That's when you find out that the werewolf didn't get caught in the rope net. It was another deer. At that point, he gets attacked by the werewolf and presumably killed. They don't say it, they don't show it, but you know. So then, after that's done, the werewolf starts to chase Grady again. At that point, the eclipse is starting to happen. It's a lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse? Whichever eclipse is blocking the light to the moon. And the werewolf turns in. You find out it's Will, which should have been very obvious throughout most of the episode. Because Will is trying very hard to make people think it's not him, right? So then, he's telling Grady, dude, you gotta go, don't stick around, like, I can't control it, I don't want to hurt you, you need to run. Grady's an idiot and doesn't. After the eclipse is over, he turns back into the full-blown werewolf, picks up Grady. At this point, Vandal comes in to play, attacks the werewolf. They have a back and forth, and eventually Vandal pushes the werewolf down the hill into the swamp. And earlier there was a mention that, if something gets into the swamp, it sucks you down like quicksand, and sure enough, that's what it does to the werewolf. So, at the end of the episode, the family's all sitting at the table, and they're sitting there talking about how everything played out, and the adults still don't believe it's a werewolf because there's no scientific proof that werewolves exist, blah, blah, blah. And, but they at least acknowledge that it wasn't Vandal. After which, Grady goes to bed that night. The family is watching him sleep, and at least, hopefully he's not having those nightmares again. And all of a sudden, Grady has a nightmare that he's turning into a werewolf. He wakes up freaking out. And then he's thankful. He goes outside, sees the full moon, and starts to howl at the moon himself, hinting that he is now going to become the next Werewolf of Fever Swamp. I really like this episode. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be probably amongst my faves of the entire series. Or not the entire series, of the first season. And it was just a lot of fun. I think the writing was really well done. I think the story, plot, and details was really well done. Obviously, for somebody that's seen it before. Okay, again, I'm not going to lie. I've seen this before. I was wrong on the circumstances of why the kids were there. But I've read the book. I've read most of the Goosebumps books as a kid. It's been a long, long time. Like, these came out in 1996. I probably haven't seen these specific episodes since probably around 97, 98. We're talking it's 2024. So, it's... That's almost 30 years? 11? Yeah. No, it was not 30. 20 years. Tripping. I can't math because it'd been 06, 16. Almost 30 though. We're talking 28 years. It's been a very long time since this came out. So it'll probably be about 25 years since I've last seen these episodes. But really good episode, and it's so weird to think that the seasons come to an end. Like, when you start something new, like, I feel like I'm never going to get out of Twilight Zone season 1. But we're already a fourth of the way through. So, I mean, we're getting there. And, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting getting to the end of something because it means you get to start something new. And we know we're not done with Goosebumps. We've still got 3 more seasons of this shit. It's so exciting. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that does mean it is time to switch gears. Not that one. That was something the cat and I were working on. I need reaction screen for rankings. That works. Picker wheel time. Time to see what is next. Are you ready? Spin the wheel. What is armchair thriller? Hold up. So, armchair thriller. I didn't write the date, so it's it's an older one. That's what that would mean. Um, armchair thriller. Man, this thing loves some old school stuff here. Ooh, it's an old British television series made for 1978. Fascinating. How long was it? 2 seasons. Oh, but they're short. Series 1 is 5 episodes. Series 2 is 7 episodes. Where can I watch it? That excites me. Oh no. Rachel in Danger is a total of 4 episodes. We're not going to do 4 episodes at once. In one sitting. What we may have to do is do like 2 episodes in one, 2 episodes in another, and then the review. So that means it's going to be like 26 episodes long. If it is what I think it means. And we're only, like I said, we're only going to cover series 1. I wonder if I can find. Let me see. Let me see if it's on Vudu. It is not. Lovely. How the hell can I watch this stupid shit? Yeah, the victim part 1, victim part. I mean, I can find ways to watch it. I'm not a fan of it not being on anything, though. Oh, it's on Amazon. Hold on. Armchair Thrill. It's like the DVD is fucking $75. That's not what I want. I like the set too. They took. Okay, I need This is the one thing I hate about Amazon is Prime Video. Prime Video. Free with ads. Oh, I'm not signed in. But okay. So we know how to watch it. I know how to watch it. That's Spell of Evil. One hour, 6 minutes, 1 hour, 6 minutes. Oh, are they? Oh, they're saying it's 6 seasons? Is this the same? Not thriller. Armchair thriller. Okay, we'll find a way to watch it. Just know that. So, and if not, if I cannot find a way to watch it, we will do something different. I will spin the wheel again. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it here. Remember, coming soon, another video is going to be my ranking of everything from Goosebumps. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.